host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. How are you, Dr. Tamara White?
I am fantastic this morning, Kim. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited.
Well, you sound like very full of life, and it's a different sound that's coming from over there than what typically can happen sometimes. And I can tell that we're going to be talking about a topic that is really going to uplift those that are tuned in today. So
Yes.
as you grab your virtual seats, know that we're going to be talking about how to be courageous. That's huge, right?
It's huge. It's huge.
So in a nutshell, tell us what we can expect to hear today from you, Dr. Tamara White.
Well, I am the courageous coach. I have been walking courageously all of my life. There's so many stories that we all have as women, but I know that when we fall down, we get back up. And what God has put in me is teaching women how to fall down, which they're going to do, but also the important thing is how to get back up, not to be in a stuck mode, but to know how to fight through and deal with the things that are causing the distress so that we don't run from problems, we run to them to conquer them, because God says that we are more than a conqueror. And I walk by faith all the time. I mean, I'm struggling in my own way, but I know that God will pull me through. And that's what I teach.
Oh, and y'all, you already should be putting some comments in the comment section and definitely asking your questions. We did a very interactive session yesterday with one of my guests, and I believe that Dr. Tamara will be able to answer some questions that you all may have as well. Let me introduce her to you again. I know she said a little bit about herself, but this woman is a woman of many hats. She has 25 years plus, really it's a little over 30 because I've been calculating it, of career experience in helping professional individuals. She's a professional certified life coach, licensed professional counselor, author, and speaker. And she's going to be talking to high performing women. And if you're a man that's tuning in, high performing men that are effectively learning how to handle stress, cultivating courage, addressing emotional scars, and empowering you to live a life that's filled with passion and joy. That's what you're going to walk away with today. If you want it, it's yours. You can have it. And it's going to happen right here today on the Kim Jacobs Show. All right? All right.
Yes. I'm excited.
We're claiming it, right? Let's see who's coming in. Make sure you all, I see you, Vanita. I see you, Sandra. And make sure you all share the broadcast and let everybody know that we are here to have a great episode. We're going to take a quick commercial break from one of our episode sponsors, Hunter Everidge Law Firm. When we come back, we're going to jump right into today's discussion. We'll be right back, everybody.
My father had 4 of his fingers amputated in a workplace accident. It was the first injured individual I represented. And I knew I had to win that case. When someone walks into my office and they've been injured, I know what they're going through. If you've been injured at work with Hunter and Everidge. We've got the experience, so let us help you.
All right. So we are back and we're talking with Dr. Tamara. Talk to us, if you will, about what you believe it means to be courageous.
Wow, that is always a popular question to ask him. Courageous can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. I mean, we all walk and have a different view of what courageous means. But as I said, when life happens, we have to learn the steps to fight through, to get to the goal that is going to make our lives shine, to get to the goals where we live our best lives and live a life that we love. So we learn how to manage the stressors. We learn how, because life is life. It's going to come, but we have got to learn how to manage those things. And in my years of experience, I find people really don't have the coping skills. They didn't learn them perhaps growing up. And so they're wounded children, and they have wounded adults, and then we have wounded lives. So finding a way to, some of the steps I teach is, and I know this is going to be a hot one, forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that can set you free on you to be courageous.
Right.
Learning how to deal with the fears and the doubts that come up in our lives. That's what courageous living looks like. That when those things come, that we deal with them. We have our pity parties. We whine and cry, and we go to the Lord. And then he's going to direct our steps, and we're going to call a friend to hold our hand to get us through. So that's part of courageous living. It's not as simple as it sounds, because we have to put the work in to make it happen.
I'm glad you said that, Dr. Tamara, because I literally, right before I got on the show today, I had I wouldn't have considered a meltdown, because I'm pretty strong and I handle situations well. But in this particular instance, it broke my heart.
Yes.
It broke my heart. And I was like crying. I was crying
Yes.
uncontrollably.
Yes.
And I was like, God, you need to give me somebody that can help me right now in the midst of this situation, because I just cannot hardly process what I'm hearing. And I'm not going to take myself there. Right. But woo, I'm talking about Dr. Tamara, where I felt like I had a pain, like I was having pain in my chest. And I was like, I am physically hurt by this, right?
Right. It will take over the physical part of your life as well.
And I didn't know how to handle it. And I'm good. I'm gifted. This is something I can teach other people how to handle. I'm like, look, bring it in. Let's focus on what the issue is. Don't focus on any person and take it personally. I know all of the answers in that regard. But when it comes to your own self and you're trying to process some things, Dr. Tamara,
it's a different thing.
It's different. I called my friend. I called my friend Sean.
Right.
And that woman gave me immediate advice.
Good.
That made me go back, and I actually ended up apologizing in the situation. But I thought I had been wronged.
Of course, I know you don't see yourself in that moment. You don't see it, but that's why you called your friend, because sometimes we have to call on someone else to see the things that we don't see, because we're in our own stuff. And that's why people hire me to get out of their own way so that they can live that courageous life.
That's good. I'm glad they hire you for that, because I can see that you would be a calming force and a reasoning person in the situation. So you give great advice, I'm sure, and we're going to learn some of it here today. So forgiveness, you said forgiveness is an important piece. How do you recommend that people really go about forgiving sincerely? Because some people say, oh, I forgive you, but they really don't. So what does that mean?
Oh my God, now that's a tough one, because it's hard to, unless a person is really at that point and ready. And that's what I'm finding when I work with clients. Some say they are, but they really aren't. I used to teach little children to forgive their parents for abuse. So I've worked in so many industries of teaching forgiveness. And so it's from the heart. It has to come truthfully from the heart, and the willingness, Kim, to let it go. That is what's causing so many people to be stuck in this world, because they're holding on to seeds that were planted, and it wasn't your fault. Or, we've all been mistreated. Sometimes people have been mistreated or what have you.
Right.
But that stands in the way of living a fulfilled life. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to remember it. Of course, it's going to be there, but we've got to learn how to put it in the place of forgiveness so that your heart is free, because for you, not necessarily for the other person. Because sometimes people have gone on to glory. Sometimes people are in the ground that we still are bitter with, and they're gone.
Right. And you're still holding on to something.
Yes.
I've had a situation like that back in church many years ago. This lady, she was in her 80s, and she was talking as if this situation happened last week, but it was something that had happened like 20, 30, 40 years earlier. It was like, huh?
Yes.
It was just like it was happening. I was like, well, where is he? Is he oh no, he's been dead for
For
about
years.
6 years or whatever. Like,
Mhm, mhm.
I couldn't understand that.
I
And she
know.
was still saying it in present tense type of form. So people really do have to be at a point of I'm letting it go. But how do
Yes.
they get to that point?
Yes, and there's steps. There's some things that I will be teaching.
Okay.
It could take as long as it takes. There's no magic number. As long as it takes to heal those wounds, to dig deep. What happened? Tell that story. Tell it in a safe and confidential place, like with me. It's not going anywhere, and I am not close to the event, so then I can help walk you through the tragedies, the things that happen in marriages, the things that happen in relationships, the things that happen in homes and churches, to walk through that.
That's
And then sometimes the root is something even different from what they tell me it is. It really has nothing to do with that situation. It's just been a repetitive thing. And that particular situation brought it to the surface.
interesting. So you are, because you're a non-biased party and you're
Mhm.
certified in this, you're able to go and say, okay, that's the surface level conversation.
Right.
But really, this is the root cause of it.
That's the root cause.
And we're gonna get to the root so that we can yank the root up and get
Yes.
it out of the equation. I love that theory.
Yes, I dig deep. My years of working with people. Obviously, the longer you do it, the better you get. And
Right.
so I have clients that say, "My God, I never saw it that way. I never thought about it, but I'm not close to it." And I'm a very much of a straight shooter, Kim. I don't sugarcoat. I don't need to sugarcoat because I know what I'm doing. And
Right.
so if you're hiring me, you want to bring this stuff to the surface.
Mhm.
I have women who are $1 million women who
That's right.
are still struggling with something that happened a long time ago, which causes them to struggle in their $1 million businesses. They can't even make good decisions because they're still thinking on something that they haven't dealt with.
So it doesn't matter your income level,
No,
your race, your
no,
age. If you are dealing with some things that haven't been brought to formal closure,
that's right.
then it's going to limit and block your courageous efforts. Correct?
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's really good. So,
Mhm,
listen, we're talking with Dr. Tamara White today about how to be courageous.
mhm.
And what I want you all to do, because many of you may know this, that my assistant, she's out on maternity time now, where she formally is having her baby girl. And
Oh,
so I'm super excited for her. But what that means also is that I'm going to go to the flash round of questions throughout the broadcast. So if you have a question, or you have any kind of comments or anything, go ahead and flood the comment section. I will definitely go to it, but I can't do all of it at one time. So you only can do what you can do, right?
that's right. That's right. You're doing well. You're doing well.
So I'll come over to all of your comments and flood a time where we just pop them up. So have them ready, type them, and we'll put them in throughout the broadcast. But when we're talking about being courageous, you say forgiveness is important.
Yes.
Then there are other steps as well that I'm sure come to top of mind. What are some of those?
Well, being courageous, first of all, is knowing what your desires are.
Mm.
And I uncovered all this because of the work I've done. And when I ask people what they want, mm, I want to be happy. What does that mean?
Right.
What does that mean? So, digging down to find out what a person's desires are.
That's
How
good.
do they identify those? Um, where are their passions at in their life? And so just asking the questions, what are your desires? That brings up a lot. And then we dig down into that and we uncover that. I've had people tell me that I've been wanting to do this for 15 years and I didn't know what to do, so I didn't do anything.
So then they just sit and just hold on to the gift. The whole world misses
Yep.
out. And then it's like, but you have to get started somewhere.
Yes.
And well, yeah. Well,
Yes.
one of the things I talk about in one of my books, I'm also an author. I don't talk a
Mhm.
lot about different things that I do from a
Mhm.
book perspective,
Oh,
but
yeah.
on KimJacobsShow.com, I have some books there. And one of them are tips that I did from NBC when I was their expert on balancing life and all of these things.
Mhm.
So every week I would come on and share these tips. And I compiled all of those tips into the book ExtremeBalanceMakeover.com. You can look over there. It's $3.99 for
Yes.
the just for the PDF version of it. And then for the book, it's, I think, $14.99. Anyway, in there, I talk about the fact that you want to identify what are you really gifted at doing. So there are your friends that can help you with that. There are
That's
people that know you and they see your life. So they may ask you, why don't you focus on this, or encourage you to focus on that. And you also know what God gifted you to do.
Exactly.
So merge some of those things, force rank them, if that makes sense.
That's
and start working on something.
That's
you think that's okay to advise that of people?
Start somewhere. Do something. And so I send people out into the community wherever they live. I send them out into researching. And as you said, Kim, oftentimes people can tell you what you're gifted at because they've been observing you. Family and friends can observe you and tell you what you're gifted at, what you might think you want to do. And then there's that introspective that we just need to sit still with ourselves for a minute. Can we just shut out the world for a minute? Can we just turn that phone off and go in a closet somewhere and just be still?
Yes.
Or can we go to the library and rent one of those little rooms out that they have? And you're just like in there with yourself to really figure out, because we're moving too quickly.
That's right.
And our minds are just oversaturated. We've got to be still to know what those desires look like.
That's really great, and great comments. And any of you all in the studio audience, what do you do to steal away time to even hear from God? What does he want you to do on this journey called life?
Yes.
Write in the comments section some of the things you do, whether it's journaling, whether it's going to the library, going to the coffee shop, on a date with yourself. What are you doing personally to incorporate some of this me time, not just only in getting our nails and hair and toes and things like that done, but to really feed your spirit and your inner man to know, what am I here for? What's the purpose of being here?
That's right. That's right.
That's good. This is good advice, y'all. Dr. Tamara know what she's talking about. She knows she's doing her thing. So listen, we're going to take another commercial break. And when we come back, because I have several episode sponsors and I love acknowledging our sponsors that take time to pour into the Kim Jacobs Show, and they believe in our show. So thank you. I want to acknowledge attorney Charles Everidge and Hunter Everidge Law Firm. If you're dealing with any kind of disability, workers' compensation claim, or you're dealing with wrongful death of a loved one, make sure you give them a call and let them know. It's 704-457-5000. Let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way, and they'll be happy to take care of you and usually have a victorious outcome. Also, today's episode is sponsored by theproducts.store. And I do want to say, I actually did a big unboxing here myself. They had sent some of their coffee and a bunch of it for some of our walkers that's coming to a 5K walk that's happening this weekend, which, if you're watching the replay, if the weekend is not September 23rd, that means that you are watching a replay. But in this case, it's this upcoming weekend, because I will be replaying this episode. But theproducts.store, thank you for contributing to Gabe's Heart Foundation 5K walk, which is happening this Saturday, September 23rd. It's happening in Concord, North Carolina. Now, this show streams in 100 or so countries. So if you don't even know what I'm talking about if you're in Concord, North Carolina. But my son that transitioned from this earth, he had experienced sudden cardiac arrest due to a heart defect that none of us knew existed. So I want you all to know about Gabe's Heart Foundation. You can go to gabesheart.org. You can also donate if you'd like, and it's a QR code here on the screen. But for those that are audio podcast listeners on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all of those places, just visit gabesheart.org. And that's the QR code. We're raising funds to put defibrillators, portable defibrillators, in public spaces around the country where kids congregate, whether it's schools, churches, restaurants, you name it, because children are everywhere. No one should have to wait 12 to 15 minutes or however long it takes for a paramedic to arrive, even though they give it their whole existence when they do arrive. We want to make sure public places have defibrillators, that portable defibrillators. And so please feel free to scan that QR code and to donate to Gabe's Heart Foundation. And whether it's for this weekend or just in life, the funds will help with that. And that's what's happening for Saturday, September 23rd, 8 o'clock a.m. We encourage you to be a part of it. All right. Dr. Tamara, I like saying your name, Dr. Tamara White.
Thank you.
It's like a regal name.
Thank you.
So when
queen.
You are a queen, literally. When it comes to being courageous, there are some people that just don't know that they even have that. They don't know that they have it, but we all have it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you encourage people to know that they have it? And it's not their it versus my it or your it, it's their it, and it's enough.
Yeah, really very good question, Kim. And so some people just don't. Some people don't align themselves to learn how to be better. You know, we all know the crowd that likes where they are, and they just keep mucking and staying in the muck and the muck and the muck. But then there's one day that you wake up and you make those courageous moves, and you decide that I want something different. I want to forgive. I want a better life. I want to buy a new home. I want a new job. All that takes courageous moves, because it's easy to sit in our comfort zones. But when the Holy Spirit begins to, and if you allow the Spirit of God to work, and there's an unction to do something different, to take a different pathway, something that's out of the norm that you normally wouldn't even do, that's when you know you're on your pathway to courageous moves. We've looked at athletes who were told they'd be nothing. We know kids that grew up and said they'd be nothing. You know, families that were always just in a gloom and doom, but you'll have one or two that kind of spried up and did something different. And you see the stories on television and social media that how are they different? Because something inside of them says, I want different. I don't want this same run-of-the-mill life or the same problem. I might be 50, I might be 60 or 70. As long as you have breath in your body, you should be living the life that you want, the life that you love, no matter what anybody says. That's going to take courage to find your way to do it.
I love this. I love this. Y'all hearing these words of encouragement. Let me go take a moment to go to some of the comments.
Sure.
And see what's happening. If you have questions or it's a lot of comments. Okay, Lord.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's pop some of them up. Sandra said, good morning, ladies, to you.
Oh, good morning, Sam.
All right. Vanita said, let's see, these comments are coming in. Good morning and happy Tuesday, beautiful ladies, Vanita said. Glad to have you all on. Virginia, she's actually a talk show host as well, getting ready to launch a new show that's coming out soon. So make sure you all follow her on all of her pages. Yes. Virginia Rutherford Hall, she was actually in the flight industry for over 20-something years. Wow. And she has a new show that's coming out called Wings of Wisdom.
Oh, I love that. I've got to get to talk to you, Virginia. Just flag me down on Facebook.
It's going to be epic. She actually graduated from my training program where I teach people how to start a virtual show.
Yes.
And from scratch, and she's one of the graduates. And so she's getting ready to kick her show off.
Wonderful. I celebrate her. Yes, Virginia.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So knowing your desires will help you be courageous. Yes. Mm-hmm. And she also said that she meditates on God's word, memorizing special scriptures that are dear to her heart. That's really good.
Love that.
So these are great comments that's coming in, and you all keep your comments flowing and tag your friends as well. We're going to take a commercial break, hear more about vproducts.store, and we'll come right back. What direction do we want to go in, Dr. Tamara, when we come back?
Well, love to talk about the upcoming event and the book that's on the hot seat right now, coming out in October.
All right. So when we come right back, we're going to talk about those two things right after this commercial break. We'll be right back, everyone. All right, everyone, we are back and we're talking with Dr. Tamara White. And already she's dropped so many gems: forgiveness, being able to identify what you're trying to accomplish in life, listening to those around you that can give you good advice about what some of your gifts and talents are, not sitting on your gifts and talents and letting us 15, 20 years go by because you're stuck in the muck or whatever it is that she's saying, or she said some good stuff. So now let's talk about your projects, Dr. Tamara, and let's begin with this one first. You have an upcoming event that I'd love us to talk about.
Yes, I have an upcoming event. It's called Unleashing Success Conference and Book Launch, where I am the visionary author. I have 7 beautiful women who took the plunge with me to write their stories on courageous living. So that is, it's just like, it's important that women can write their own stories. And I made a call to action, and these women stepped up. And I just believe these are the women that should have been in the book. The call to action was out there, but they took the plunge. And so they're writing on their own courageous journey, how they rose, their journey, their strength, and their accomplishment on the other side. We will be launching on October 21st, a physical conference, but then on October 12th, a Thursday evening, we will be going live on Facebook to give a pre-launch so that I can introduce the world to these beautiful women and their stories. The stories encompass all kinds of things: life, health, career. And what I find is that women have their stories and they need to tell it. So they signed on and I signed on with them, and just looking forward to lifting them higher in the conference. And we'd love for those, because I'm in Houston. So if there's anyone in the Houston Metroplex or can share this out, we'd be glad to have you. Or when the book is published next month, purchase a copy and read for yourself how women fight through. And it's on the screen: Courageous Women Rise, their strength, their journey, their strength, and their purpose. I'm featured along with the spot that's not there is going to be the cover for each individual author.
Oh, good.
And so we're all excited about it. It's just been a wonderful project, and everything that I do is about lifting women higher.
Oh my gosh. Courageous Women Rise, y'all. And you never know, there may be some other anthologies coming down the pike. So you definitely want to connect with this courageous woman.
Yes.
And I'll give you ways to do that as well. But the book is coming out next month. And again, for those that are podcast listeners, I'll share with you the website and everything as well. And then the conference, Unleashing Success, and that's going to be taking place in the Houston area. But there are 7 different people that are featured that will be highlighted at that conference, and you definitely don't want to miss it. If you know anybody in that area, let me put your contact information up.
Yes.
We have a lot more to discuss today anyway, but
Sure.
I want to give people mid-show an opportunity to know how to stay connected with you.
Sure, please.
Go ahead and let people know how they can do that.
Well, it's on the screen, but I know people will be listening. Stay connected with me, Dr. Tamara White. Of course, my name is my brand, so you can find me at tamarawhitecoaching.com, or you can email me at contactus@tamarawhitecoaching.com, or on Instagram, Tamara White Coaching. And I'm out there. I'm available for speaking. I'm available to do a quick consultation, and just follow me. I'd love to have followers so that I can continue to pour in what God has given me.
That's excellent. Now, when people come to you to get training and coaching, what is the process like, as far as what kind of process do you take them on? Is it virtual as well, or do they need to come in person? How do they really get a chance to glean from your wisdom?
Well, good question to ask. We do virtual. Now, I'm certainly open to in person, but the way the world is operating now, we're just moving so quickly that everyone is opting for virtual. So, I do Zoom with my clients because I really like the physical ability of touching and seeing, because I think now we've all learned how to feel like we can touch and see you on camera.
Right. It's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same, but
it's not quite the same, but it's close to the same.
Right.
So I take people through a process, usually work with women anywhere between 6 and 8 months, depends on, what we have hopper there, but generally 6 to 8 months. We, meet. We have assignments that we do.
That's good.
Assignments are the powerhouse of the work, because once we're done, I still need for you to linger with what we talked about. And I need you to do the call to actions that we've talked about. Because when you come to me and you say you want thus and thus and thus, and we work out that plan on what you want, then we're going to be working on it, even though I'm not going to be seeing you in person all the time. So our assignments, we celebrate the wins. There's accountability with me, of course. I hold your feet to the fire to get the work done. It just operate like that. Nothing magic science. I just want people to be ready. And of course, when I first meet someone, we do a circle up, strategy call just to see if it's a good fit, because I may not be the right fit for everyone. And then we can decide from there, how to move.
That's good. So listen, Dr. Tamara White is the courageous coach. And when I think about someone being the courageous coach, that means to me that you've had to experience some things yourself along life's journey that made you say, enough is enough.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to kick into the courageousness that God gave me, the courage He gave me. So when we come back after this commercial break, I'd love for you to be able to talk about your journey to becoming courageous. Okay.
Absolutely. I absolutely will. Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we even take a break, I see all your herpreneur sisters coming in. So let's go ahead and acknowledge these sisters.
Okay. Hey,
Josephine, she said, hello, beautiful queen.
Hey.
And Dr. Nikki Ziegler is in the house, and she is off by saying hello to you as well. She said, hey, I'm here. All right. Oh, and Virginia Rutherford Hall says she cannot wait to connect with you. For those that may have missed it, Virginia graduated from my training program, How to Start Your Own Virtual Show from Scratch. And she's coming out with a new show called Wings of Wisdom, being in the flight industry for over 20 years, about 25, 27 years or so. But she has some wisdom to share about letting your life take flight. That's going to be some good shows.
That's going to be good.
It's going to be real good. So y'all all go and support her on her journey. All right, everybody, we're going to take another commercial break and hear from one of our episode sponsors, and we'll be right back. All right. This is great information you're sharing, by the way.
Thank you.
Very, very, very good.
Who are those people? The guys playing golf in the middle of the day on a Tuesday. The woman wearing $1,000 shoes at a cafe in the city. The kid in the ripped jeans driving a $200,000 sports car. What do they know that you don't? One word: leverage. Working smarter, not harder. Owning their own business, not being owned by a job. The good news? We have it. Interested?
Two things are almost certain about you. Number one, you know people who travel. Of course you do. Everybody travels. It's an $8 trillion industry. It's what people dream about doing. And number two, you probably aren't making the commission. You see, every car rental, every hotel, and every resort pays commissions. They may go to a website or to a traditional travel agent. But trust us, someone is earning it. Well, what if we could show you a way to put that commission in your pocket? It doesn't hurt to take a peek. Interested?
All right, everyone, we're back and we're talking with Dr. Tamara White and having a great experience here today, learning about being courageous. Dr. Tamara, I'd love for you to tell us about your journey to becoming a courageous woman. Take us back.
Well, one of the things, as I'm the oldest of 3 kids, okay? Right? So right away, you're going to be courageous because mama said, you are in charge. Because I was raised by a single mom. My dad wasn't available, if you will. And so it started there, me watching my mother through the storms that she went through. And I was the oldest, so I was more on top of watching what was happening in the home and how she pushed through to raise those kids. My mother walked away from a marriage that wasn't serving her and said, I'm out of here. And she took her 3 me and my two brothers, and she went on and did what she needed to do.
Wow.
So I watched her all of my life. And I think from there, I didn't know that it was a courageous walk. It's just watching what she did. And then I noticed as I became more of an adult, I started doing some boss up moves like that. I never thought it was aligned with my mom. I watched my grandmother, who back in the day had property.
Mm-hmm.
This is in the North, not the South. She had property. She had a tenant. My grandmother had her own vehicle. My grandmother had credit cards. And when I didn't even, when she took us to the store to get us clothes, that was in the time that you didn't see a Black woman having any of this stuff.
Right.
No. She did what she did. My grandmother had furs. And so I look back at that. That was a courageous move for her to even become a landlord at that time.
Right.
And then I look at the courageous moves that I've had when with my husband, who has a brick and mortar business. My career I decided to walk away from a career that I had for quite a while to join him in his business, because we had a lot of different things we were going to do that was going to be my job. And then he was going to do what he does. Well, once I got in there and got everything going, and then there was this emptiness because he's in the tax industry.
Okay.
That did not align with my spirit. What aligned with me was the things that he hired me to do, was to manage and hire people and massage that and help the clients.
Mm-hmm.
I did that well, but then I woke up one day and I said, this is not me. Why am I, I've done my job. And then one of the staff said, and she was a minister, and she said, Mrs. White, why are you here? And I hadn't spoken a word to her. That was only God. Wow. And I said, I don't know why I'm here. She said, you need to go do you. And she said, I'll take over. And it gave me the freedom. And then I had to have what I call the courageous conversation with my husband.
Yeah, that's a courageous
conversation with your spouse when all of the breadwinning is coming from that industry.
Right.
And I had to do it. I asked God to help me. I wasn't afraid of my husband. Don't get me, please don't, not a fear of him.
Right.
It's just, walking in one day and saying, hey, I'm out.
Right. That's a big conversation, and you're still married to the person, and you got to go home every day and love on each other. But I'm not supporting in that regard anymore.
Yeah.
That's a difficult conversation.
That was a difficult conversation. And that's what it means to be courageous, because I had to come up with my truth. And my truth was I needed to get back to my career, what God has put into me, my counseling and coaching. And that's it. We had the conversation, and I dealt with all of what came, and I just kept it moving.
And how did you can't leave out the part of how he accepted it or didn't accept it or what?
He was stunned at first, but then he knows me. He said, I get it. He said, I get it. I get it.
So he supported you in stepping out in faith in a different direction.
He supported me.
Yes.
He supported me. And, it's no turning back. He's my biggest supporter now. He's my biggest supporter. Just keep it going. He watches me. He knows how I move and operate. And he always throws me bones, like not bones, but he throws me things that, hey, have you thought about this? I got somebody I want you to talk to. I'm like, wow, this is really happening, huh? And that was probably about 8 years ago.
Great.
About 8 years ago. So I did it, and I manifested this business around my skill set and around being courageous, because I began looking at all the moves I've made in my life. Okay. And I've given up so much, but I've also gained a lot.
So you feel like the sacrifice of what you had to give up, which are some pretty significant things,
yes,
to be able to get what you have obtained, which is your courage and the ability to help train other people. So you're offering a gift to the world.
Yes,
being able to say, not only am I more courageous, but I'm actually inspiring other people to step out of their comfort zones too.
I do. It's natural. It's a natural gift. I know God has gifted me with this. And I have no trouble relaying it, displaying it, teaching it, talking women off of the ledge. I have a client now who wants to talk to her dad about some things, and she was afraid to do it. And I walked her through. She said, I'm afraid to talk to him. I'm afraid. And I said, no, you can do this. And so we worked out the language that she needed to use. And I got a note the other day. She said, I did it. I did it. I did it. She said,
Okay.
I did it.
So give us that, even though you're not going to tell us the person's name, talking a person, let's just talk for a minute from a business perspective.
Mhm.
This woman, she's stepping out of her comfort zone. She's nervous. She
Mhm.
doesn't know what to say.
Right.
Give us the example of what some wording would be in a person's situation is viewing like that.
Sure. So she wanted to talk to him about some stuff growing up and how she was feeling, that kind of thing. And I said, here are the words that you're going to use. You're not going to put him in the scenario because you don't want him to feel some kind of way like there's an attack coming, because I want to talk with him as well. So part of it is that I'll be talking with him and her to give her the support to say whatever she needs to say. And she loves her dad. She just wants to get some stuff off her chest, that kind of thing. I'm a grown up, but I need to get something off my chest now.
Okay. This is a daughter dad.
It's a daughter dad. And
all of you adult daughters out here,
right?
Listen to me for a second, because this is like role playing. You're an adult child. You may be in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, 60s, and your dad and mom's still alive. And you want to figure out how to get some of the things that's been burdening you down in your life. This is an example that Dr. Tamara is sharing. So carry on.
Yes, because in our journey of working together, this woman was a professional woman, that theme kept coming up. And so I know how to deal with that theme, and I had to wait until the right time. And now that we built up, she's ready to, I said, well, the next step is, and she was like, I can't. And I said, yes, you can. And I said, this is part of your healing. You walking around with all this burden, and how old are you? She said, I'm almost 40. So it's never too late. The woman's almost 40 and she's been walking around with this burden in her heart, and her dad probably doesn't even know.
That's the key. That's the key right there. The person don't even know that you have that level of a heaviness in your heart, because it's not weighing them down the way that it's weighing.
That's
you down.
right.
That's good.
Right.
Okay. What did you?
So the words that I use are about her. I said, ask your dad if he would help you. Dad, I need your help. Okay. Dr. White is asking me to work some things out, some things I have on my heart. And it was all about her, not the blaming of him. But it's all about, it's her agenda. If we just stay in our own agenda, it's not about that person. It's about the healing that you need for yourself, but she needs to have that conversation. And I said, make it about you, that, it would make you feel so much better if he could come on, that you just want to talk over some things to feel better about your situation. And that I would like to have your voice in the room.
Oh, that's
and
good.
Yeah.
So you advised her to say, hey, you're helping me in this situation, but really, technically, you're getting the person to come and hear the counseling advice that's being. You are good. I mean, y'all put some emojis in the comment section over there. This is some good advice. So you didn't make it about, look, Dad, I am so sick of dealing with you and all this trauma and drama that you caused in my life. And so I need you to show up because you need this counseling. That doesn't work. What you're saying is, Dad, listen, I need to have a support system around me. And I told them that my dad is very caring and loving and want to see me do my best. So can you come and just sit in on this one session with me? Support me.
Yes.
Girl, they couldn't pay you enough to do what you're doing. I can tell you that. Everybody need a session with Dr. Tamara, right?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah,
let me put this contact information up again, everybody, because y'all cannot miss these moments. Stay connected with Dr. Tamara White. Book your session with her as soon as humanly possible. It's virtual, no matter where you are in the country.
No matter where you are.
And you can email her at contact us at TAMARA White Coaching.com. At TamaraWhiteCoaching.com. That's for the audio listeners over there.
Yes, I understand.
You can also follow on Instagram at Tamara White Coaching. So make sure you all stay connected with her. Okay, give us another scenario of how people can find their courage. That's a business woman, entrepreneur, and just trying to do something. I don't know what.
So I have, I'm going to talk from experience. So I have a client that runs $1 million business, and she was all over the place with her own stuff. And so she was running from her marriage problems. She wasn't dealing with her employees correctly. They were just kind of all over the place doing whatever they wanted to do. Right. And yet she's running $1 million business. And then when we got on the sessions, there was a lot of complaining. And so the desires were she wanted to fix her husband, and that's not going to happen. But what are you doing to stand up in your relationship at home? Because it mirrors what's happening in the marriage. Okay. It's mirroring what's happening in the business. All of this is mirroring. And then when I do a kind of a collective summary of the life, it's just been part of her life, just kind of give up, sit in the corner, but yet I'm making $1 million in my business. So bringing truth to the front, digging around. I'm like a gardener. I'm digging because I will find it and I will present it, and you won't even begin to know that I'm getting ready to hit you between the eyes with it. And people are just like, how did you? I said, you hired me, right? This is what you hired me for. We're not friendship. This is not a friendship thing. This is not a patty cake. Let's get on with it. So I helped her to identify that she was okay staying in a marriage with her husband, who was an alcoholic.
Okay.
She never said that that was okay, but I said, you're living that's okay. And you're okay with it. And so let's call it what it is. And so I help people to just say what's really going on, and that if you're okay with it, then that's what you're going to continue to receive. You're going to continue to see that.
Interesting.
So, it's sad, but people make those decisions, and I'm not there to turn them away from what it is they want. So that's what she wanted. And at the end of the day, that's what she wanted. And she's still in that marriage.
Okay. And so even whether you agree for her to be in that marriage or not, the point is her choice was to remain in that marriage.
Yes.
But you felt like that choice is kind of hindering her success?
Yes, it is, because then she can't show up at work. She can't show up and tell her employees who I went to her place of work, and sometimes I will do that. So I did, as you said before, I do virtual, but I did come to her job. To her office, and we did an activity there. I do vision boarding because I want people to understand what the vision looks like too. So that's a part of my process. Right. So when we started doing that, and then she began to feel some kind of way there, she was crying inside of her office. And I said, what is this all about? And so she had people that were working for her that were non-performing.
Okay.
And so we talked about that. And then she did put some things in place to manage that piece. She knew that she needed to let someone go, and she didn't want to because her heart was all soft, and she couldn't do that because she couldn't let her husband go.
So she has and we're obviously not saying names, so you have no idea who we're talking about at all. But the point is, she has difficulty in this particular scenario in severing ties that need to be broken. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, but still, she's a high performer.
She's a high performer because she's got, and she's got staff, so while she's managing what she's managing, the people are still producing. Those that are, she had co-owners. She was in a co-owner position, but she was still probably 60-40 type of thing. Still performing, business is still functioning, business still making the money. But I want people to be clear, and I walk them through being clear about what your choices are. Okay. And so if you choose, you choose. It's not me to change your mind. That's just your choice.
Right. Because not everybody's going to implement everything that you share as the advice, but the advice is still the real advice, and you're not going to sugarcoat it because that that's the root cause of the problem.
That's right.
So we're talking with Dr. Tamara White about how to be courageous, especially with all that's going on in society. Dr. Tamara, there are people that you can't help but lose hope because there are shootings, there are school shootings, there are people just walking in grocery stores and taking people's lives and stuff that's scary. And you don't want to live in fear. Right. But you're like, what in the world? This is happening all around the world, and it's out of our control. What advice do you give people to still step in there being courageous in the midst of chaos that's happening?
Well, I know that when people don't have a faith, when they're not walking in faith, and not that, not that it doesn't bother me too, but it has me a place to go to run to. Because we can't change the trajectory of the world. where we shine as we change the trajectory of the lane that we live in, walk and breathe in. And so when we walk and breathe in the way that we walk, we don't know which lives we're turning around, who we're touching, how we're helping, having that compassion, and then trying to not live in a fear bubble, because that is mentally disturbing to all of us when we're in a fear bubble. We manage what we can and we give the rest to the Lord. It's like the serenity prayer. We know what we have to hand over to him, and we just have to learn how to keep it moving. We just got to keep it moving, because the world is a big place. It needs all of us to show up with the gifts and abilities that God has given us. He's waiting for us to show up. Somebody out there is looking for Kim, Jacob. Somebody's out there looking for me, and all the people online. Someone is out there looking for you, and you can't show up well if you're walking with fear, stress, anxiety. You can't help anybody.
This is words of wisdom, guys, that are coming from Dr. Tamara, and I see comments that's been flowing in. So let me take a moment and acknowledge you all again over here. And I see tagging and all kinds of stuff. So this is a blessing. Angelia, I think is how you pronounce your name. Welcome, Angelia. And your comment or question, yes, that's good. Stay in our own agenda, your own lane. Yes.
Yes.
I also see Vanita, and you said these are strong words that Dr. Tamara is sharing. Yes, she's sharing some significant knowledge here. Other comments, and she'll probably go back and look at some of these comments as well. So happy and proud of Dr. White. Yes, Dr. White. You have that
thank you,
reminder.
Angie. Thank you.
Great comments that's coming in, everybody. Words of support and encouragement. You have moms that are out here as well that are tuning in.
Yes.
And sometimes being a mother carries its own weight, because you're helping to produce these productive children and trying to manage life. What ways do you think moms can be encouraged and courageous on our journeys?
So as a mom and as a grandmom, I can talk about that. I know there's probably a lot on the line here. Raising kids can be tough.
Yes,
it can be tough. It is tough. Shouldn't say can be, but it is tough. One thing about parenting that I'm seeing, and don't get me started on the parenting at this point, but we're allowing our children to run us. And so stay in your parent role, keep some boundaries.
Yes.
Set the consequences, people. Keep the consequences real. Don't, they learn that you're going to be real or you're not going to be real.
Right.
And also, women, take care of yourselves. The women are not taking care of themselves.
That's good.
And it's more than the nail shop. That's a given now. That's not
right.
a luxury item. Let me do that. That's part of what you do. But stealing away those moments that you need, even inside your own home. I remember growing up, and my mom always had boundaries for us. And then when I raised my kids, it's like, if I'm in the bathroom, why are you knocking on the door?
Because the door is closed and I needed private time.
Yeah.
And when you're in, that's what I tell my children. I'm like,
yeah,
when you're upstairs watching whatever it is that y'all are watching, when I finally put my back up on the pillow and I watch like America's Got Talent or something I want to watch, and I'm like, I'm all into it. And so hey mom, what do you think? I just try to watch this.
Right. It's exactly. It's like, stop. So set the limits, set the boundaries, do something for yourself on a regular. I mean, I'm asking every woman at least once a month, put something on that calendar for yourself. And that's how you replenish and stay strong, and set those boundaries with kids. Let them know that you mean business. Keep those consequences real. And just love, 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 love. It's all you can do.
Yeah, I love all of the advice you're giving. And that's something I talk about also in the book that Extreme Balance Makeover, is how to have a great parent-teen relationship in there.
Yes.
And one of the things I talk about is having that confidential conversations with your children, so they know that what they talk to you about isn't just going to filtrate throughout the family. Those are important things.
Exactly.
If they think that you're going and you're spreading the word and all of that, they're not going to tell you a thing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. And then also focusing on the behavior of the child versus you turning into a ranting, raving
Right.
lunatic situation yourself, then now
Right.
everybody out of control. You know?
Right. We don't want that. Please
No.
don't do that. Learn to listen to your kids. I was a high school and middle school counselor at one time, and the stories I would hear, and because their parents weren't listening, so they came to tell me about it.
Right. Wow. Well, just Lady Justine Hillier said, Kim Jacobs, you're kicking me into my courageous self. I see you. I see you. And Josephine said, hello, beautiful queens. And Jamila came on and said, hey to everybody as well. I
Great.
see all of your comments that's been coming in. I want to go back and invite people to your program again
Thank you.
that we talked about earlier. So tell
Mhm.
everybody about your upcoming event.
So I am thrilled and excited to be the visionary leader and author on a book called The Courageous Women Rise. And so here in Houston Metroplex, I'm doing an event on October 21st about unleashing the Success Conference and book launch. I have sponsor speakers that will be talking to us about a variety of subjects that are here and now, along with the book launch, celebrating 7 women who took the plunge to tell their courageous stories on how they journeyed through their life and how they had strength to manifest and make it happen.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
made it happen, and each of
They-
their stories are being shared
Right.
at this event. And then
Right.
the book is coming out when, and tell us the name of the book, why
Yes.
that blank space is there.
Yeah,
And
the book is coming out. We're having our official launch on October 21st, but we also are doing a pre-launch on October 12th online, Facebook. And so we'll be, looking for orders there. We certainly will have it on Amazon and things like that. But it's called Courageous Women Rise, Their Journey, Their Strength, and Their Purpose. Because along the way, as you're rising, you have that journey, and then you had to have that strength to get through it because you're walking to your purpose.
wow. And the blank space is there beside you for what reason?
Because every author will have their picture on the front cover along with me, and on the back side will feature all 7 authors.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
And a question came in about retirees. I would love for you to answer that if you can see it on the screen, and I'll take the image down. What about
Can you read? I don't see it.
okay, let me see
Okay.
it here. That's why I see Mackenzie. She on maternity time. I gotta see it over here. Let's see. What about retirees? How can you help us to be more courageous later in life? If you would just share a tip for retirees, and then also
Sure.
answer that question as well.
Sure. So a tip for retirees is still purpose.
Mhm.
Whatever God put in you, whatever God gave you, you should still be walking it out. That's why we have a lot of volunteer service organizations where you can go volunteer. That's why you need to connect with other people who may be doing what you want to do or a desire to do. Not living in isolation, because we're not done until we're done. God still has room for you. And sometimes our purpose can change. What you did for a living doesn't necessarily mean that that's your purpose. If we take time to find the passion in our heart, to weed out the weeds, we will find where we need to reside. And sometimes that's just volunteering somewhere or getting a part-time job somewhere, where you can just be around people that you like. It may not be about the check, but it just be doing something that lights you up.
That's
You
good.
got to have a vision for your life. And that's where it starts, is looking like, what is life like after I leave this job or this career? What am I going to be doing?
What are you going to be doing beyond retirement,
Mhm.
unretirement, non-retirement, life after retirement? 'Cause
Yes.
life doesn't end for you. It's just some kind of different variations of how
Yes.
life will be. That's
Yes.
beautiful. So yes, she does work with retirees and has some great words of wisdom for you as well. And today's episode is also sponsored by MajorPT.com. And I like being totally transparent with the fact that this is one of my sons that sponsor the episode as well. And he does a great job. He's been on his own personal journey to lose weight, and he did it through no surgery. Not that anything's wrong with surgery at all, but he did it through just eating and exercise. He was about 300 or so pounds, and he fights a lung disease that he kicks in the head every day. But he decided to take life into his own hands, and he's lost over 100 pounds. And
Wow.
he trains people. He's become National Association of sports medicine certified virtually and in person. And he's a student at UNC Charlotte. So if you're interested in learning more, visit majorpt.com. He's one of our episode sponsors today. And our final episode sponsor for today is this young man, Jeremiah Jacobs. And Jeremiah he does websites and overlays for different shows where you see framed things where you can put templates to make your shows and your broadcasts and your Bible study look a little more professional. He does those types of services. He's 18 years old, just recently graduated from high school, had his Make-A-Wish come true. So he did have that and was able to meet billionaire Robert F. Smith in New York. And so we don't take this for granted that he has a certain knack about him. And JeremiahJJacobs.com is one of our episode sponsors. If you'd like to learn more about his website development services and all of his overlays and kit stuff that he does. Thank you so much for our episode sponsors today. Thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. You are an amazing studio audience. And what's a closing? We're going to get a closing comment from you, Dr. Tamara. But let me go and see Sandra. I don't want to leave our studio audience out. I see you. And did I miss any questions? Oh, Virginia said this is a wealth of wisdom. Wow. #wow. Everything you're sharing, people are just.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Was there anything you didn't share that you said, dog, Kim, I wanted to talk about this and I didn't talk about it?
I just love the flow of it. And I kind of go that way. I didn't come in with an agenda other than just, talking about what I talked about and sharing about the book and the event. I just love this kind of thing, trying to empowering and encouraging women to move forward. It's not, we're not in the 1800s and 1920. We can do whatever we put our mind to. Yes.
You are full of encouragement. You know how David encouraged himself?
Yes.
You don't have to do like David and go encourage yourself whenever you have Dr. Tamara White. She will do it for you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a really joy and a pleasure.
All right, everybody. Listen, make sure you take a moment. I'm going to share her contact information one more time. Take a moment, if you will, to donate to the Kim Jacobs Show. It's our pleasure to be able to come on here and to share with you. It's scrolling below, but it's Cash App, which is $ Kim Jacobs Inc., or PayPal at paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. Or you can also send it through Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show. Or become a Patreon member, patreon.com/the Kim Jacobs Show. Okay. Those are just some of the ways that we keep our program alive Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. People contribute to TBN, all of these different places. Right. And it's through community contributions. So if you all contribute, that's the only way we can keep the program thriving. Okay. So thank you all for your support. Stay connected with Dr. Tamara White. And tell them how they can do that one more time.
All right. Follow me, everybody, on TamaraWhiteCoaching.com. Follow me on Instagram, Tamara White Coaching. And you can email me at Tamara White Coaching. Contact us at TamaraWhiteCoaching.com. So it's pretty simple. Same format everywhere. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Same format. All right. That's today's episode, everyone. I see you, Vanita. She said, have a wonderful day, ladies. Lots of comments have been coming in. Thank you all for all of your participation. We will see you again tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. I'm going to take this. I think I got everything down. Yeah. All right. Everybody have a great day. You are an amazing guest. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Stay backstage, if you will, and we're going to go ahead and close out. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you and make it a great day.